the Black Critic Guy, super excited to give you all my final video for Studio Ghibli Month. And let me tell you, I could not have picked a more fitting video to close off this excellent month than my top 10 favorite Studio Ghibli films. Since I've now seen every Studio Ghibli film under the sun, this list is to highlight those particular Studio Ghibli films that truly left a lasting impression on me, really resonated with me, and really stood out from the pack. But before we get to those choices, I do have some honorable mentions, and they are as follows. Kiki's Delivery Service, Whisper of the Heart, and The Wind Rises. And now, on to the list. Riding the waves to the number 10 spot is Ponyo, 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 fishy in the sea. Now, I know that many of you aren't too fond of this film. You find it to be one of the weaker Studio Ghibli films for its uneventful and lackluster story and pretty dull and standard characters. But as I stated in my review, guys, the beauty of this film lies in its simplicity. It's not trying to be a deep, dark, complex story like Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, or even Spirited Away. It's trying to be more along the lines of a My Neighbor Totoro or Kiki's Delivery Service, a film that's all about the spectacle and wonderment about what you're experiencing, and to tell the story from a kid's perspective. And in that, it pulls it off in flying colors. And you cannot deny that the animation here is some of the best that the studio has ever produced. It's so energized and colorful. I just loved seeing the animation in this film. It really popped out. Hate on it all you want, guys, but for this critic guy, I freaking adored it. Flying its way to the number 9 spot is Porco Rosso. I would have never suspected that a film about a pig that flies a plane and hunts air pirates would be so damn entertaining and surprisingly deep. The dogfights look cool, the story was engaging, the characters are a whole lot of fun to follow, and I love the relationship between Porco and Fio. I honestly wish that those two would have hooked up by the end of the film, but they don't even show me who he ends up with. What the hell, Porco Rosso? All in all, Porco Rosso is definitely more than meets the eye. And speaking of films with ludicrous concepts that are more than meets the eye, we got my number 8 choice, Pom Poko. Oh my god. Again, just like Porco Rosso, if you were to tell me that a film that's centered around a bunch of magical tanukis with the ability to transform into anything they so desire and use their balls to commit acts of terror was actually a deep, complex, and riveting tale, I would have laughed at you. I would have said, you're out of your damn mind. There's no way a concept that ridiculous could be so thought-provoking. But that's actually what Pom Poko is. Though it hides in a ridiculous concept, the film has a very powerful message about the dangers of modernization and how it affects nature, the creatures that live in the forest, the trees that grow. And if there's one praise I can give Pom Poko, is that it truly fascinated me on every level. I was fully engaged to everything that was happening on screen. And for what it's worth, I enjoyed every bit of it. Not to mention, Pom Poko has one of my favorite songs in any Studio Ghibli film. It plays at the end of the film, and that song is so infectiously catchy. It sounds like a song that you would play at like a festival or like a gathering where you want to get everybody excited and cheerful. You might just hear that song pretty soon. Making me feel nostalgic at the number 7 spot is Only Yesterday. Now, I'm usually not too big on slice of life stories. I find them pretty mundane and boring. They just don't appeal to me that much. But Only Yesterday is one of those rare slice of life stories that intrigued me throughout. When I was watching the film, I couldn't take my eyes away from it. It could be because of the story, it could be because of the characters, or maybe it's because of the gorgeous animation throughout the film. But it definitely had my attention throughout. To think such a simple tale of a young woman that travels to the countryside and begins reminiscing about her childhood could resonate with me to such a level. But that is the power of Only Yesterday. It taps into the emotional core of every person who's ever gone through an experience and reminisces about the past. And in that, the film is a true masterpiece. And speaking of masterpieces, we have my number 6 choice, The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Such a visually stunning film. I don't think I've praised the animation for Princess Kaguya enough. The animation is spectacular. I just love the overall look of it, the use of watercolor, the fact that it gave off an old Japanese painting vibe, which I think is what they were trying to go for, as they are telling a Japanese folk tale. And I most definitely love the tale part of the Tale of Princess Kaguya and the moral that it teaches, that the best things in life do not come from lavish materials or large mansions or even great proposals or opportunities, but they come from the simplest things. Princess Kaguya was most happiest when she was living the simple life of a farm girl, being with their family, hanging out with all those kids. She enjoyed the simple life. It's only when they went to the mansion and she was being proposed by all these great lords and princesses that she was just like, I don't like this. This isn't what I love. This isn't what I want. This isn't the life I want to live. And that ending still hits me right here. So sad.
Turning old in the number 5 spot is Howl's Moving Castle. Shut up, you damn kids!
Besides the obvious anti-war theme of the film, the world of Howl's Moving Castle is just so damn fascinating. I would love for them to explore it more because I was fully entranced by this world. From the moving castle to Howl, the witches, the lands, the flying machines, everything about it just really intrigued me. The animation is great, the music's solid, the voice acting good, the story riveting, and the characters a whole lot of fun to follow. What else needs to be said about this epic masterpiece? Bringing me to tears at the number 4 spot. Oh God. Grave of the Fireflies. I have not seen a more tragic and heart-wrenching film since Schindler's List. But even Schindler's List had a sorta happy ending to it, whereas this film, there is no happiness to be found. You would need to watch the most lightest thing possible in order to feel good after watching this film. It is that sad, that depressing, but therein lies the beauty of a film like Grave of the Fireflies. It's so unapologetically real and raw that it places the audience into the thick of it with the characters, making us empathize and feel the pains of the characters even more than most films. The film may be extremely difficult for most people to watch and endure because of its gritty realism. I know that I struggled to stomach some of the scenes in this film, but The Grave of the Fireflies is nothing short of beautiful. And that theme that played during the opening credits. Such a powerful, lovely melody. Transporting me to another world is my number 3 choice, Spirited Away. Similar to Howl's Moving Castle, the world of Spirited Away is so damn fascinating that I wanted to stay in this world a little longer to explore more places, explore more characters, explore more storylines. There's just so many possibilities with the world of Spirited Away, but the story that they gave us was still really enthralling. You can truly see Miyazaki's imagination running wild throughout this film, from the character designs to the locales to the way the characters behave. I mean, it's all just so great, so wonderful. And again, I really want to see more of this world. Miyazaki, you said you're coming back to make another film. Why not make a sequel? This would be the one time, Miyazaki, that I would want you not to make an original film, but actually revisit one of your old concepts. Porco Rosso, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, either one of those, just please. I want to see more of this world. And I really like the character of Chihiro. I really like her growth throughout the entire film, and I love her relationship with Haku. It's sweet and touching. And that scene that they mentioned in my previous video, talking about their favorite scenes, where you see Haku and Chihiro falling. Oh my God, that was such a beautiful scene. That is one of my favorite moments in a Studio Ghibli film as well. And the music that accompanies that scene, perfect. Joe Hisaishi, you're amazing, man. This is my 3rd favorite score that you've made. Overall, Chihiro in Wonderland was just a blast to watch. Such a magical experience. And speaking of magical, we got my number 2 choice, My Neighbor Totoro, Totoro. Sing with me. Totoro, Totoro. Look, I've gushed about this film enough to you guys. You all already know about my unwavering and undying love for My Neighbor Totoro and the major impact it left on me in my childhood. I'm freaking wearing a My Neighbor Totoro shirt at this very moment. Hell, throughout all of Studio Ghibli Month, the only shirt that I wore in all of the Studio Ghibli Month videos were My Neighbor Totoro themed. Don't believe me? Go check out the playlist. You will see that I'm always wearing a My Neighbor Totoro shirt, and I did that on purpose. I freaking bought the original Fox dub on DVD. I have plushes of My Neighbor Totoro. My freaking wallet is a My Neighbor Totoro wallet. That is legit my wallet. My freaking lapel on my keychain is a My Neighbor Totoro lapel. If it's not clear how much I love My Neighbor Totoro after all of that, you're either in denial, living under a rock, or freaking stupid. At the risk of sounding corny, although at this point, I really don't give a damn, My Neighbor Totoro is nothing shy of magical. Every time I watch this film, guys, I get this sensation throughout my body, a sense of joy, wonderment, amazement, thrills. I feel like a kid again, going on an adventure with Totoro and Mei and Satsuki as they fly through the air and roar and try to make the plants grow. The music is just incredible. That score is so infectious. The songs, the opening and ending theme, I can't get them out of my head. They're so catchy. The voice acting's great. The story, though simple, is really enthralling. Everything about this film is incredible to me, and it will be really hard to ever replace it in my heart. Now, I bet you're all pretty shocked and confused as to why My Neighbor Totoro wasn't number one on this list, especially after all of the gushing that I've done about this film and all the items that I own that are Totoro themed. You would think, oh, it's a no-brainer. Tony's gonna pick My Neighbor Totoro for the number one choice, right? Well, actually, as much as I would have loved to put My Neighbor Totoro at the number one spot, and I came this close to doing it, there was actually another Studio Ghibli film that was made that I felt was far superior than it. It is just such a deep, complex, intriguing, and well-made film. Everything about it is near perfection. I would not change a single thing about it, and it's truly a masterpiece of a film, and that is Princess Mononoke. When I first saw Princess Mononoke, I knew as a little kid that this was something special. This was something unique, and it blew my freaking mind. And to this day, the film is still incredible. It holds up tremendously well. The animation is still phenomenal. The music, freaking epic. The story, enthralling, engaging, riveting from beginning to end. The characters, deep, complex, and morally ambiguous. One of the things I loved about the film is that there isn't a main villain. The characters who do act villainous have reasons behind their behaviors. There's much more depth to those characters, and they made for some of the more interesting characters in the film. Every single thing in Princess Mononoke is excellent, and it still remains the best Studio Ghibli film I've ever seen, and my number one pick for my favorite Studio Ghibli film of all time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, were my top 10 favorite Studio Ghibli films. And I would absolutely love to know what you guys thought about my list. Did you agree with it? Did you disagree with it? Did you feel like I left any Studio Ghibli films out? And let me know what is your favorite Studio Ghibli film in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for making Studio Ghibli Month an incredible experience. And now we can finally end Studio Ghibli Month. So, if you would like to support the Black Critic Guy just a smidge more, why not donate to my Patreon account? Link is in the description. And if you'd like to send me any fan letters for me to read, send it to this P.O. box right up here. And if you want to see more awesome videos on this channel and be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Wild II, the super Studio Ghibli fan who's seen all the Studio Ghibli films now as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace YouTube. Man, Studio Ghibli Month is over! Play the music!